Good evening, everyone. And my name is Noel McManus. I am the Community Sports Development Officer from Fingal County Council Sports Office. Thank you for joining us this evening. Today's workshop is our fourth workshop in our series and is part of our Active Club Challenge. If you've joined our classes in the last number of weeks, I hope you've enjoyed them. The class will be recorded, so and all the classes will be recorded. So if there's any you missed, you can look back. Tonight we have Deirdre Kelly from DK FitNut, who's going to take us through making exercise a routine. So I may pass you over to Deirdre. I hope you enjoy the workshop. And if you have any questions, we will stay on at the end that you can ask Deirdre. And if you've anything during the class, just put it in the chat box and I'll help you as best I can. Okay, enjoy the class. Over to you, Deirdre.
Okay, perfect. And I'm just going to get you to share my screen. Oh, it doesn't allow me to share my screen. Hold on now. Everyone, I'll be with you momentarily. Slight technical hitch. Okay, you should able to.
Okay, Deirdre, able to share it? Yeah, there we go. Share now.
So, screen 2, share. All right, so. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. Can you see my screen there with making exercise a routine, Noel?
Yes, I can see the introduction screen there now, yeah.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's great. Okay, so welcome everyone. Firstly, a massive thank you to Fingal Sports, Fingal County Council, Sport Ireland, and everyone for having me tonight as part of the Active Club Challenge initiative. So very excited to be here. So I just want to go through, get this set up here. So Noel, you'll look after the waiting room in case anyone's late, won't you?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it here, so I'm letting people in as they join.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so welcome everyone. There'll probably be a couple of people coming in late, and that's fine. So this is recorded, as Noel said, so the recording will be available to everyone afterwards. So tonight we're talking about exercise and how to make it a routine. So if the presentation will probably be an hour. Within that, I have some demonstration work as well. So let me give you a quick introduction about myself. So just to double check now, you can see the slides changing here.
Yep, I can do.
Perfect, great. So who am I? My name is Deirdre. A lot of people call me Dee. I run DK Fitness and Nutrition. So I used to be in the gym, but now as COVID, I'm online. I'm a personal trainer, certified nutritionist, and I work mainly with women. So I consider myself a women's coach. I'm qualified in program design, pre and postnatal, and menopause health, which is a big thing. I'm actually running some menopause webinars at the minute. So if anyone's interested in that area, feel free to contact me. I'll have my contact details up at the end. So I was actually originally in hotel and catering, and I'm actually an accountant as well. But a few years ago, maybe more than a few years ago, I suppose in my early 30s, I got into the gym. And I actually joined a triathlon club a few years after that. And hence, I was never into, I never did sports when I was younger. I loved football, I'm from Mayo, so no slagging about Sam Maguire. Will come home hopefully soon. But I have a massive interest in sport and always did, but just never played it. And not, I suppose, when we were younger, women or girls weren't pushed as much as they are now. So it's amazing to see so much more women involved in sport now. But I suppose for me, and that's why I put up my sporting achievements, as I call them sporting achievements, I came into it very late and I loved triathlon, got into Leinster swimming, loved swimming. and then did the Liffey Swim in 2014, and I also did the Half Ironman in 2015, which is a massive feat for me, from someone who's never really done anything. I never ran. I suppose for me it was taking part, and I think that's a really important thing when it comes to sport or anything like that. It's participation. I may have a competitive edge as well in me, but you know, I never did. For me, it was just taking part and finishing something, so that was great. And with that as well, it's the community, and that's what I love about clubs and challenges and stuff. It's the community, the friendship, the support. It really was amazing. So then that's just a little bit of background about me. You know, I am a late comer as such. I took a big risk changing careers, but I never regret it. And I absolutely love that. I am obsessed with food, and I'm obsessed with training and fitness, and I suppose become a better version of myself every day. So then tonight, what are we going to talk about? So we're going to talk about creating a routine for exercise. So that all comes down to doing what you love. I'll mention briefly some habits, things on planning and preparation, motivation, which is a big thing, and looking at the importance of exercise for health. And that's something, if you can all take away tonight, knowing that exercise is so important for our overall and long-term health. We'll do, or rather, I'll do an exercise demonstration. Then I want to talk about some balance work, and then a morning stretch. So you can then put that into your morning routine. So all of this stuff can complement any challenges that you're currently doing. If you're just walking, if you're running, cycling, whatever you're doing right now, these can all build your overall strength and core fitness. Now, I would ask everyone to keep themselves on mute while I do the demonstration. And if you have any questions or anything at all, you can pop them in the chat box. There should be a little box there. Pop it in, and then I can go through it at the end. And now, if you're unsure or you think of something afterwards and you're like, oh, Jesus, I wish I asked that, I'll have my details up, and feel free to email myself, or you can email Noel and he'll pass it on to me. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'll have my details up at the end. Okay, so let's move on into creating a routine. The biggest thing I think with creating a routine is doing something that you love. So if choosing a physical activity that you enjoy will help maximize your chances of staying active, whether that be walking, running, cycling. Dancing is amazing. I absolutely love dancing. It's great. It's a great exercise. You feel great when you dance. Throw on your favorite song. You know, it can be anything. Weight bearing, resistance training. And one thing to note, that you don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to go, okay, right, Dee was on last night and she said, we have to go exercising tomorrow and we have to do X, Y, Z. No, if you've never done anything before, I always suggest you start small. Take 10 minutes, maybe do 10 minutes a couple of times a day. For example, if you have never walked before and you want to get out and walk around the house, walk around your park, or walk around the block, or if you're in a park, you know, take it small, 10 minutes, and build that 10 minutes up over time. So fun and doing something, I always say, be active your way, whatever way that is, because if you're doing something that you don't enjoy, you're not going to do it. It's not going to be sustainable. It's like a diet, which I don't like to use that term, but you want to do something you enjoy, and that will make it long term. Believe me, it works. And things that also can help as well. I love the tracker. So with this, and I talk about that moment, and I like the tracker because sometimes it reminds me to move, get up, and it also, I'm a little bit competitive, I said, and it gives me how many steps I'm doing, and sometimes I like to set step targets, and I do that with my clients. So we have a little fun challenges. I think it's really important to have the support from your family and friends, and if you have children, I do believe that if you start getting them active at an early age, like children can be active, they're active most of the time, you know, but getting them into like activities and some sort of sport at an early age will help them down the line keep that and building habits for life. It's great. I love it, especially with the club challenges and stuff, you know, it brings that community support, that friendship, that, you know, and especially because we've had COVID, we've lacked that social interaction, which I believe is so key. So getting that back, so doing something. I love meeting friends. Back in the old days, it'd be going for a beer or whatever. Now I love, we go for a walk, then we'll go for lunch, or we'll go for lunch and we'll go for a walk. And I just think walking is amazing. I used to love going out cycling when I was in the Tri Club and going swimming with people. I think doing something with people, it really helps as well. But you don't, I mean, it's up to you. if you like to be on your own and go for a walk, happy days. I have a client who loves going for her walks, popping on a podcast, and she was reading Michelle Obama's book, which I love. I think Michelle Obama is amazing, and if you haven't read her book, it's a great read. But she says she would be out for an hour or two because she didn't want to finish the book, or she didn't want to go home because the book was so interesting. So, little things like that. So important, whatever you do, make sure it's something that you love doing. Habits then, habits. So James Clear, if you haven't read this book already, or if you don't have it, Atomic Habits, pick it up. It's one of the best books. I keep it on my desk. I refer back to it. I've used his quote because he says anyone can dream big. And daily habits, tiny routines are repeatable, and daily habits are what big dreams are reality. Dream big, but start small. And I think that's a lovely quote. So habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. So they say by improving by 1% every day, although, you might think, 1%, it's a small percentage. It can be far more meaningful in the long run. For example, if you get 1% better every day for 1 year, you will end up 37 times better by the time you're done. That's amazing. So I work with my clients a lot on small wins and small steps. We're not perfectionists. I'd never want anyone to be perfectionists. So small steps every day. And habits, you might hear people say, that's why people give up, because they're like, oh, well, I haven't done it. They say a habit takes 21 days. Well, that's actually incorrect. Scientists say the habit changing or forming a habit can take anyone from 18 to 254 days. So don't give up if you feel you're not getting anywhere within 2 weeks or whatever. On average, they say it's 66 days, but I wouldn't even worry about that. Consistency over time, doing as much as you can over time. And 3 things to put in mind when it comes to a habit. A reminder, making something as easy as possible, and rewarding yourself. So what I would do is, if you want to set a habit, I'd say take a current habit that you're currently doing and add one. It's called habit stacking. So for example, every time before I brush my teeth in the morning, I'm going to do a quick morning stretch. And that's, for me, that's what I do. Before I brush my teeth, I don't brush my teeth until I have my little stretch done. And that, for me, I associate. It's like some people say they floss when they brush their teeth. You're putting something together that most of us, well, I hope we all do brush your teeth, If an ad comes on, most of us sitting down, probably some people have the football on, but please don't tell me the score. I have it recorded. But if the ad comes on, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do 10 push-ups or 10 squats or something. And you could create that a challenge or a habit with your family as well. Also, when a habit, make it easy as possible. For example, you're not going to go and run 26 miles, right? But what you can do is what I always suggest when someone's starting off running is most of us will walk. So how about in a 10-minute walk, we jog for 1 minute. Then the next day we might jog for 2 minutes, and you build that up and that jog becomes a run. So keeping it small, and building on that, and then rewarding yourself. And that's not rewarding yourself with the takeaway or food or whatever. It's saying, you know what, Dee, well done. You ran 2 minutes today. Or you know what, I got off my ass during the adverts and I did 10 squats, that was good work, fair play. And something Irish people, we don't give ourselves enough credit. And I think we should start to reward ourselves for our little wins. And another key thing when it comes to write it down. If you write it down, more likely you'll do it. So remember, dream big, but start small. When it comes to planning and preparation then, in relation to, I suppose, if you want to work out. So rather than setting yourself a deadline, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times every week for the next few, set a schedule and say, okay, I'm going to schedule in a workout, maybe Monday and Wednesday. And the goal then is simply to do that workout. So the focus is really on doing the action. Take that back a bit and you're looking at Sunday evening, which I think is amazing for planning ahead. Sit down Sunday evening. If you're a busy 9-to-5 worker, which I used to be, quarter end mental, where can you find 30 minutes in your day to go for a walk, to do a workout, to jump on the bike and do a quick cycle? Look ahead. Where is the slots? Can you get some of your family to come with you? Plan, look ahead. And that doesn't mean you have to plan everything, but look ahead, put in the calendar. Where are you? 30 minutes, that's all you need. 10 minutes in the morning, can you get up a half an hour earlier? Can you put a reminder on your laptop to get up and move every 45 minutes? Literally get up, stretch and come back down. So little things like that. And preparation. And one thing I do, and I am a big believer, I always have, is leave my gym gear out. So I see it the first thing in the morning going and get into it. I like to do my workouts in the morning. And I feel once I have my gym gear on, I'm going to do my workout. So, you know, that goes, you can bring that to work. Can you leave a gym gear in work? Can you leave your runners to go for a walk? Can you have the runners in the car? Can you have them at the front door? If you see them, you're more inclined to do it. So keep an eye on those. And that goes the same if you're cycling. Have you the bike pumped or the tires pumped? The bike left handy, your bike gear, helmets, of course, safety always. Have that stuff there, you can see it, get it done, okay? So little things around planning and preparation, and always remember starting small. Motivation, and this is a big one that I thought I always had to be motivated to do something, but actually action comes first and motivation comes after, and that's really important to remember. So instead of saying I need to get motivated to go for a walk, no, I need to take action to get motivated. So what are you waiting for? Get up, get out. Well, obviously don't leave right now, but you know, go, and you don't need to be motivated. You just need to do it. Just do it. That's the Nike thing they used to have. I use that a lot myself. I used to have a band, Just Do It, and just do it. You know, what's stopping you? Stop with the excuses, you know, and that always comes back to, if you find something that you love, you're going to do it. So remember, start saying, I need to take action to get motivated. So try that and see how you go. You know, instead of thinking of your workout, just get into your gym gear and go do it. Another couple of things, and then before I'm going to head on then into the demonstration, is making a non-negotiable. So it's something I work a lot with my clients, is kind of setting up 2 to 3 non-negotiables. And these are things we must do daily, regardless how busy we are. Personally, for me, my one is every morning I go for my walk, brush my teeth, do my stretch, and I go for my walk. And mainly because the dog's looking at me, but we only got a dog lately. I think COVID has been amazing, because before, I suppose, I'd be going to work or something. Now I get up, and regardless, I don't care how messy the house is and what has to be done, or if I'm late getting up, I'm going to go, whether it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I get my walk in. My other one myself is I drink a lot of water, but it doesn't have to be nutrition or fitness related. You know, you spend time every day. I must spend half an hour playing with the kid, you know, little things. But I would suggest maybe putting something that every day, or my non-negotiable today is to get up and move, whatever that will be. And the last thing then I want to talk about is, if you can take away something from today, is the importance, oh sorry, that's my dog coming in to disturb me, is the importance of exercise for health rather than calories. So a lot of times I see people posting pictures, I burned 500 calories doing this, or, you know, stop with the fitness watches. It's a watch, it tells the time, and it probably tells your steps. Don't look at it for anything else. You look at it, look at exercise to improve your strength, to improve your bone health, to improve your heart health, help your mental health, reduce stress and anxiety. So much more important than for calories, because basically exercise is only about 10% of your overall calorie expenditure for the day. Apologies, I'm just going to get rid of my dog. Woodley, come here, come on. Apologies, there's always something happening on the live. Let's go, come on, let's go. Good boy, good boy, come on. Live TV, huh? That's what happens when I leave the door open. But anyway, so really and truly, improve your bone health, especially. So as we get older, our bone density declines. From the age of 30, our bone density declines. Not to scare you, but it does. And women, especially as we head into that early stage perimenopause, it's important that we can, and we start at any age. Your heart health, as we get older, risk of cardiovascular disease increases. But it's good to know that exercise will help this. So any bit of movement, like the British Heart Foundation showed that even those who exercise for about 4 hours a week had a 19% lower risk of high blood pressure. And amazingly, the study by Lou, which is a great study, showed that adults who lifted 1 to 3 times a week would reduce their risk of heart attack or stroke by 70%. So it doesn't really matter what you're doing, you're moving, but definitely any type of exercise, and strength exercise especially, is so beneficial for bone health, cardio health, and all of that stuff. So from here now, I'm just going to switch my screen. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I'm going to start our demonstration. So what I'm going to be doing here is putting together a little program, like 5 to 6 exercises that you can use. I'll talk a little bit about programming and what you should include in a program, and then I'll look into a few balance exercises that will aid, like if you're jogging. And I suppose as we get older, you know, our balance can tend to be off, and especially with our vision, if our vision is poor, it'll affect our balance as well. So I suppose strengthening, and we can strengthen our leg muscles especially, will really help with their balance. So I do like with my clients programming in some balance work. And then I'll quickly show you a little routine that you can try if you want in the morning time that just helps, I suppose, get the body set up for the day. So I'm just going to stop this share here. I'm just going to change over my screen, all this technical stuff that we have to learn now that we're on Zoom. And we'll just change this over. Perfect. So I just want to be able to get a view that you can see me on the mat. So you guys don't have to do this. I'm going to demonstrate, all right? You don't, but if you want to try it when I'm doing it, you're very welcome. But I would say just if you want to take a couple of notes or whatever. So bear with me when I just move this around. So great, we should be able to see everything there. All right, so when it comes, I suppose, to doing a program, I suppose for beginners, the main thing I say to, I suppose, any of my clients when we're working out is we want to hit a full body workout. So rather than, you'll hear people say, oh, their body, 3-body split, push-pull legs or whatever, and that's fine for more advanced. But I would suggest to anyone, if you want to do 2 to 3 times a week, you want to hit full body exercises. So actually the National Physical Activity Guidelines say that we should try to do some muscle strengthening activity and exercise 2-3 times a week, and then a few exercises really that will target all the main muscles. So when it comes to doing some exercise, firstly it's so important to warm up. Now I'm not going to demonstrate a warm up tonight, but you could do something if you work. This is all basically working from home now, so I'm not going to be doing any weights. It's all body weight because a lot of us just don't have the weights, right? So you do a warm up, and that can be just literally, you could do 10 jumping jacks, you could walk up and down the stairs. You basically just want to get the body warm. You could go out for me, what I normally do is I just go out for a 10-minute fast walk, come in, and then a couple of light stretches, and I'm good to go. And usually it's more dynamic stretching, not static stretching. So that's something that's more of a flow rather than holding our stretch for like 10 seconds. That's something you do at the end. Then when it comes to my main exercise phase, as I call it, I pick about 5 to 6 exercises. Within that, then we call sets and reps. So a rep is one single exercise. So for example, tonight I'm going to be starting off with the glute bridge. I would have programmed that in for you as beginners, say 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, 8 to 12 reps. That's usually for muscle strength, our muscle building, 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 reps, 3 to 4 sets. So I would say you might see glute bridge 3 by 10. So that means you do 10 reps of the exercise, you rest for about 20 or 30 seconds. So I'd always keep the rest lowish. As we add more weight, you'd increase your rest time. Rest for 20 to 30 seconds, and then you repeat that 3 times. Then you'd move on to the next exercise and so on. Sometimes you might have a superset, which means you're doing an exercise back to back and then you rest. But today I'm just going to do one exercise after the other. So that would be your main phase. Then I might have maybe 1 or 2 exercises for balance. So I'll be showing that after I go through the first 6 exercises. And then you'd have your cool down. And that's, so all in all, you can get in and out with your workout with a warm up and cool down in about 40 minutes. I mean, you could really shorten that down to 30 if you wanted to. Okay, so all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get on the mat. I'm just going to quickly take off the top just to show a few things a little bit clearer. So our first one. And just to mention, you might come across as well a single leg and bilateral and unilateral stuff. So there's different movement patterns that will be in a program as well. So this is a little bit technical, but just to mention it, you may have bilateral movement, which means basically working both sides of the body, or you might have unilateral. So working both sides, for example, shoulder press would work with both arms, or a single arm press would work. That'd be your unilateral movement. Then you'd have kind of chest dominant, you'd have compound movements, which is working more than one muscle, and you'd have isolation. So for example, a compound movement would be a squat, you're working a few different muscles, and an isolation muscle would be the good old bicep curl, where you're just working the biceps, which is the front muscle here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate 6 exercises, but I'm going to do them one by one. I'll demonstrate, I'll walk you through, and I'll suggest what you should do rep-wise and set-wise. And hopefully I won't be too long and you can all see it. Right, so the first one I'm going to demonstrate first is our glute bridge. So I'm not going to talk during this, I'm just going to do it. 2 reps. Okay, this is the glute bridge, mainly hitting your glutes, a little bit of hamstring, can also hit quads depending on how close our feet are. And this is a really good one for beginners, and it's great for the lower back. If you've lower back and knee issues, what you need to be doing is you need to strengthen these babies here, your bum, your glutes. You need to be working your hamstrings and your quads. But basically, if you have strong bum, it really help your lower back and will help your knees as well. So the glute bridge is great, and it can be furthered on into a hip thrust. So what you need to do is you're sitting on the bum, on your bum. You're going to roll your spine towards the mat, easy. So you don't want to flat your back on the mat. Your heels are close to your bum. Hands are by your side, and your knees are hip distance, so about 2 fists in between. From here, you push into your hands and your feet, push all the way up, bringing that bum off the ground. See, long line between my knees towards my hips, full extension of the hips. Pause, squeeze that bum, and slowly come back down to the start. What you want to avoid is the knees coming in together. So you really want to keep them out, but not all the way out like so. All the way up and all the way back down. To advance that movement now, you can go onto your heels. You're pressing into your heels, and it's still the same, keeping curling all the way up to the top and coming all the way back down to the bottom. To advance it further and even hit the hamstrings, you're going to put your heels. I'm just going to bring my chair over here for a moment. This is a really good one for the hamstrings, for the back of the legs. You're going to put your heels on the edge, but I would only do this one once you have perfected the first 1 or 2. So this is more advanced, all the way up, pushing full extension. Oh, really feeling that, the back of the legs, and slowly coming back to the start. So you'd be shuffled in quite close to the chair with your knees directly over the hips. A key thing to note with this is to keep the distance between the ribs and the bottom rib and the hips short, so that if I come up and show you here, you don't want to have the arch at the back. You want to imprint, so tucking the duck, as I call it, keeping this nice rolling the pelvis forward and keeping that back imprinted onto the mat. I'm just going to tip this down slightly here. It's quite hard to see. Bear with me. So this is something anyone can do. Something I start off with a lot of my clients. So I'd have quite a lot of, I suppose, mixed age, but I do a lot of older women as well, and a lot of back issues and stuff. And this is a really great one. So all the way up and all the way back down. So that's the glute bridge. So I would advise starting off maybe 3 sets of 10 reps. So like I said, resting 30 seconds and repeat it again. Okay, I'm just going to come up now. So always take it easy when you're coming up into a tall position or from the floor. Sometimes you can be a bit dizzy or whatever. I'm going to talk about the squat. So I'm going to demonstrate just a typical bodyweight squat, and then I'm going to talk you through different ways that you can do it. Okay, so your bodyweight squat. Front view and side view. If you've never done a squat before, actually most of us have kind of done a squat, because you know what? We all sit down and we all get up. That's what your squat is. You're on a chair and you're coming up. You're doing a squat, right? But be careful, because this is what I see a lot of the time. What happens is you're falling forward and you're coming up, and the back. And that, if you're doing a squat, sometimes you can irritate the back doing that. So what I would suggest first is turning the chair around, and this is a little bit of balance work as well. You can hold the chair, your squat position. So your feet are under your hips firstly, and then you come out slightly. Toes are slightly pointed out. Now, everyone's squat stance is different. So yours might be different to your partner's or whatever. You know, we all have different, we might be able to go as low. Like I'm quite long. I can't really get down all the way, but I go as low as I can. I'm still working. So with this one, shoulders are down, ribs. So you tuck that duck, as I call it, and you're just going to squat down and push up. That's something you can use to hold on. Then when you've got a bit used to that, you can do the chair version. From here, pushing into the feet to bring yourself all up without extending the back. So from here, shoulders are down, ribs are down, feet are hip distance, slightly more than hip distance, toes slightly pointed. And from here, you're going to sit down onto that chair, keeping that chest upright. And from here, the key, drill those feet, push the floor away to bring you all the way up, slight squeeze of the bum, and from here we go again. So I'd like, something you can practice. While the kettle is boiling, you can do a few squats, right? So that's building your habit there. You're boiling the kettle, let's do some squats. To move it on, then you can do your body weight squat. So from here, hands are in front or you're clasped together, whichever. The same technique. So all of this, regardless if you're using the chair or not, you're going to come all the way down. So, and pushing up. So you might only be able to get here. That's fine. You might have tight hips or your ankle mobility might be great. That's fine. Keep practicing. Like, don't feel you have to get all the way down because sometimes you end up falling over, right? So only go as low as you can, push through, little squeeze of the bum and practice that squat. Really, really, and it's practical. We do it all the time. Now, to make it even harder, what you do is a tempo squat and it's really slow. 3, 2, 1. Oh, burn. Pause and push yourself all the way up. So like you don't need to be running out and getting the biggest weights or whatever. You can just use your body weight, decrease the tempo, and that makes it harder. And then eventually you can start adding in weights. Like you could have a backpack, put it on your back and that increases the weight, or the front and gives you more kind of a frontal squat as well. So little things you can work on there. So then from the squat, so that's really working. So we've done a couple of legs there, right? So now I want to talk about the chest. So the chest press or the press up, okay? Something like, I suppose for me, my upper body strength is a little bit poor. I tend to shy away where I should really try and push it. So for me at the minute, my goal is to work on my press up. So what I like to do is I use the door. So I'll demonstrate first. And push away. So very straightforward. We all have doors, I'm sure, in the house, or you can use the wall. So what you do first, and the key thing, is get that straight line. So remember, rolling the pelvis, keeping a nice straight line and a short distance here. You step away, a couple of feet away. You can start close and then eventually moving back out. Firstly, you can do the wide press up, so your hands are past your shoulders, or the narrow one, which is the hardest one. And this one works the back of the arms, the triceps, or as some of us call it, the bingo wings, right? So it's really good for here as well. But I would suggest whichever one you feel comfortable, try the wide one and then eventually come in. So you place your hands into the door, you're stepping back, you have a nice straight line. Remember, tuck, fall towards the floor or fall towards the door, and you're going to push yourself back out, fall towards the door and push yourself back out. It's a really great exercise, quite simple, and you can progress it on. If you have a countertop, I'll use the kettle because I'm sure we all boil the kettle during the day a few times. Stick the kettle on, a couple of minutes on the countertop, the same technique. Obviously, I don't have a countertop here, but you're the same, you'll just be a little bit lower. If you didn't like that, you can come to the floor. And what we do, the box press. So this is kind of the standard basic one. In the box position, your hands are slightly wider than the mat. You're going to bring that head towards the ground, the elbows come out, forward towards and coming back up. So you're really getting that arm and that pec muscle as well. And then you build up your press up. You can build it then into more knee press up. So you're falling forward onto your hands, coming all the way down and pressing up. And the full press up, which I will manage 10 reps one day. Small steps, remember. You're coming into that full, and then you're slowly lowering yourself all the way down to the ground. And you can fall flat there and then push yourself up. So that's like a really kind of slow or a good way of progressing that full press up. But like I said, if you've never done before, start at the box or start at the door. So that's your chest dominant exercise. Okay, moving on. So we've done a little bit of legs. We've done our chest. So with that, just to talk about your reps and your sets, I'm going to keep it at 3 sets for all of these exercises. With the press up, I normally do 8. And then the next, after a couple of weeks, build it up to 10 reps and see how you get on. Shoulders. So this is a really straightforward one. that you may think is really simple, but believe me, when you do it about three sets of 10 or 3 sets of 12, you can really feel the arms going. So I'm going to do it on my knees because I've quite long limbs, so you probably won't see the top of the movement. So what you're going to do, I'll demonstrate first. And back down. So this is quite a practical movement. So this is stuff for, imagine, I mean, we put stuff up in the top press, maybe for putting the shopping away, or when we used to fly on Ryanair or whatever, you put your bags overhead. So it'd be good to have some upper body strength. So the arm raises is something you can use. So what you do is, like, you'll be standing, or you can kneel for this, but preferably standing. So imagine I'm standing, my arms are straight by your side, your palms are facing your thighs. What you're going to do then is you keep those shoulders down, and remember, always keeping the duck tucked. So keeping that lovely long straight back, and that ribs are tucked, ribs to hips. From here, you're going to bring your arms up to shoulder height. You're going to swivel the palms or turn the palms up towards the ceiling. You're going to bring your hands up towards the sky, clasp them together, pause, and then you're going to reverse out that movement back to 90, turn the palms towards the ground and bring it back down. You're going to go up, flip your hands around, up to the top, back down, turn, back towards your side. Try 10 of those, rest for 30 seconds, and do it 3 times. And it really gives a really good burn. So, and then you'll bend up, you can add in like weights. So you can add in a can of beans or can of tomatoes. I have one here. And you could start adding that in, turning it around all the way up. Or the little plates, you know, you can get the 1.5 kg plates, and you could slowly start adding some weight in, and then building into like a lateral raises, frontal raises, and lots of stuff there. So with that one, I would try 3 sets of 10, see how you get on. So we have now worked the legs, the chest, the shoulders. Most importantly, and especially for you, if you're working at a desk, if you're like myself, I have a little bit of round on my shoulders from being at a desk for so many years. Working our back muscles is really important. So this is a straightforward one that you can do. Right now, I'm just going to get a drink of water. So it's called the bent over Y press hip hinge from hip hinge. So don't worry about it. I'll just explain. So I'll demonstrate first rather. And I'll just do the back view for you though. Okay, so it's like I'm doing a Superman, right? So what it is, the hip hinge. You also, not only are you working your back here, but you might get a little workout in your hamstrings because you're in a hip hinge. So a hip hinge is different to a squat. So this is a squat, remember, very knee dominant. So the hinge is you're hinging from the hips. So you're going to have, firstly, bring the shoulders down, stick the bum back. So you know if you're bringing the shop and you want to close the car door sometimes with your bum, that's your hip hinge, okay? So if you feel the creases here with your 2 fingers, pop it in here, that's the crease of your hips. See that long line? So remember, tuck, keep that short distance ribs to hips. Your arms are going to go out in a Y, and from here you're going to imagine your elbows want to tuck into your back pocket, and you're going straight back up again. Bringing them all the way down, straight back up. All the way down, nice and slow, pause, and straight back up. So from the back again, sorry, now you have to view my rear. So from here, all the way back down and up. And you really feel a lovely workout in your lats as well. Feel a little bit in your shoulders. And from in that hinge position, you might feel a nice little stretch in your hamstrings. So that's something I would do. I would do 12 reps on that one, 10 to 12. Rest for about 30 seconds and go again and repeat that 3 times. So that's one for your back, hitting a little bit of hamstrings. So the next one and the last one for tonight, because I'm not going to do any isolation, is the plank. And I know a lot of people don't like the plank, but I think it's mainly because it's not performed correctly. The plank is an amazing exercise. And you might have noticed that I haven't mentioned the core here yet. But the core, we don't, I suppose, work. You'll hear ab exercises, right? But to get, we all probably wanted those abs in our day, didn't we? The ripped, shredded thing, but that requires serious discipline, serious nutrition, and it's not sustainable for life. With our core muscles are muscles surrounding our trunk. So they include like your abdominals, your obliques, your pelvic floor, they are like your hip flexors. So it's not just your abs, it's this whole area. So we actually work a lot of that, your diaphragm. We work our diaphragm a lot when we're breathing. So we work a lot, we work all of these exercises. You're keeping the ribs down, you're engaging your core, you're breathing, all of that is working your core. So you work your core in these exercises, that full body. So by doing that, you're also strengthening your core. But I do love the plank. I think the plank is amazing. You really feel a lot of benefit here as well. I'm going to demonstrate a couple of versions. So the beginner one I'm going to demonstrate first. Okay, then we have the low plank. And then we have the full plank. Okay, and you're hitting everything. You're hitting legs, you're hitting core. It's amazing exercise. So I'll quickly go through because I want to move on to the balance stuff then. With the beginner plank, and this I would suggest for now, you may sometimes have lower back issues, but sometimes that is just, it needs to be strengthened more. But I would advise, obviously, if you're having a lot of pain, you always speak to someone. If you are with a trainer, always tell them. If you have a lot of pain, talk to your doctor, talk to your physio, always do. You don't want to be in pain, but sometimes a little bit of pain is just a little bit of weakness, but not always, so be careful. So one thing always before we get into that plank is this ribs to hips. Ribs to hips, tuck the duck, keep this nice and solid. You want to come with your shoulders slightly over your hands on this one, and you're just going to hold as if you're going to go into a press up, and you're literally just going to hold that position. And I would start with this one. It's not reps, it's time. So I give yourself, do 10 seconds, move it on to 15 or 20, increase by 5 seconds each time, or 2 seconds, but start small. Start for 10 seconds and see how you get on. And I do that 3 times. And that's like my finisher at the end. So your low plank, your elbows are directly under your shoulders, both sides. You can have your hands pushed into the ground, or you can have them pushed together, palms rather, and you step 1 foot back, you step the other, and you hold. So this is not a plank. Okay, I see it so often. You want a nice straight line, holding that position, nice strong legs. And then you can come up into plank, full high plank, hands or wrists under shoulders, and always keeping those shoulders down the back, a nice long line, which I'll show you. And I have a picture at the end. And then you can progress then and make it harder by holding it for longer, adding some weight onto your back only for more advanced. And you can also do plank taps like so, coming off nice and slow like so. So that's really that's a strength program. That's straightforward. You got your glute bridge, you got your squat, you got your chest press or your push up, you have your arm raises, you have your bent over Y press, and you have your great plank, which is amazing. And you can add in stuff as you go along. Like I'm going to show you a few balance exercises that you can switch in. So you could do like that program I gave you, you could start that on maybe Monday. Then you could switch up and add 2 of the balance exercises on a Wednesday, and then you could repeat that on a Friday. But even if you just do that program once a week, amazing. Like you're improving your bone, you're improving your muscle. Because what we want to do is we're all going to age, but if we can do anything to slow down the aging, happy days. So that's something. And this will obviously, if you have strong legs, it's going to help your walking, your running, your cycling. If you have strong upper body, help your swimming, your cycling. It all comes together. So anything we can do to help all of those activities. Okay, let me just grab a drink. We'll go into the balance stuff because the time is flying. All right, I'm just going to tip this up slightly as I need an assistant here tonight to do the video work. Okay, balance stuff. Why am I doing balance stuff? Because what do we do when we run? We're on one leg, right? We're on our jogging, our walking. We need balance. We need balance as we get older, to stop us, to reduce the risk of falling. So a little bit of balance work you can do. While I'm going to use that boiling the kettle, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to do our heel lifts, Dee. I'm talking to myself. Our heel lifts. So what we do with the heel lifts, I'll do the side view on this one. We're going to come up onto our toes, balance, and come all the way down. Up onto our toes. So our heel lifts and all the way down. And this is actually working. It's like a calf raise. But you're obviously not going to do that to start if you've not done it before. So you get the chair or the countertop, holding slightly all the way up and all the way back down. So you could do 10 reps of these while the kettle is boiling, or while maybe you're on the phone chatting to someone. You could be just balancing a little bit. Take your hands off. So start with the chair or the wall, then take away the chair and balance on your own. Okay, so that's a good one to start with. The one leg stand. So if anyone's gone to any physio, or if you've had any damage, this is one they would give you as well, that we tend to forget because we don't do our physio exercises, right? Right, you're going to do it at a wall first because you want something in case you fall forward. So you come to the wall or the door, you balance on one, you're going to raise the other one off, and you're just going to hold. Eventually, you're going to take the arms away. And the hardest bit is you're going to close your eyes. Ah! Okay, my balance is terrible. You can do that with the chair. Do it with the chair, hand up, holding on, right? Let the hands come off and hold. So your pressure, all the weight is going into that standing foot. Now close your eyes. And you're going to hold for 5 seconds. And then you're going to hold for 10 seconds. Just do that a few times, maybe 3 to 4 times a day. Or every second day rather, because we won't do it every day. But if you schedule that in with your workout, do that before and maybe try it at the end and see how you get on. So like it doesn't take long. These don't take long. It's just they're boring, right? But make them exciting. Do it with the family members. See who falls first. You know, do this week I'm going to do for 10 seconds. Maybe next week let's try for 15 seconds and work it. Make a competition, improving your balance. So that's that one. Another one is the imaginary tightrope. So imagine there's a rope here. And it might look easy enough, right? But what I'm doing is I'm looking down at my feet. So we don't want to do that. So we want to start at the end. Left foot into the ground, all the pressure in the foot. Look forward. Hands out to the side, raising one leg off, placing the heel to toe, bringing the other one off, heel to toe. Oh, and I'm gone already. Very simple, slow it down, but it can be quite hard. Once you look forward, take your arms out to the side. Now, if you want, bring your arms in, look forward and go again. Okay, so heel to toe, arms out to the side. And if you want, you can draw a line or use a skipping rope and walk alongside it and stuff like that. So that's another one to do. A really great one that I love and I include in my programming for my ladies is a standing leg raise, because I really feel it in my bum. It's really great. Not only am I working the balance, I'm working my bum. So I'll demonstrate this one. Okay, I'm using the chair for balance. Eventually I will take the chair away. Fingertips, so only lightly holding. Left foot into the ground, standing nice and straight. Ribs are down, shoulders are down. My right foot is off the ground. It's going to come out to the side, pause, and come back in again. Not touching the ground, out and back in. So watch that this doesn't happen. You're not trying to do this. You're trying to keep nice and tall, shoulders down, ribs are down. Open up, back in, open up, back in. So you'll do 10 on one side. You'll switch it around. You'll do 10 on the opposite side. And you'll do that 3 times. And then maybe in the next week, you'll take the chair away. Now it could be 2 weeks. And you'll just balance on one leg, out to the side and back in. So you want to avoid this, okay? So it is a little bit, oh, I'm gone. Out to the side and back in. So there are 4 exercises that you can put into your program, especially this one. I love this one. It's great. I really feel it in the bum. Now, for the advanced, if you're looking here and you're going, Dee, they're too easy. All right, okay. I like my squat. Do you like your squat? And you're good at your squat? Well, if you're good at your squat, you're going to advance it even further to a single leg squat. So you're going to stand up nice and tall. You're going to bring one leg off and you're going to sit down onto the chair. First of all, make sure you know where the chair is. You're going to sit down, push and bring yourself back up. It's quite hard. You can see my balance is pretty bad on that foot. One side will always be worse than the other. So start on your weakest side with any exercise. Start on your weakest side and move forward. So push up and all the way down. So that's a good one, but I'd only do that one if you're more experienced and have done the squat. So there's some really good balance exercises. Like I said, take one or two, throw them into your workout, or just do them when the ad is on. Make a competition with your family. To finish off, I want to show you a little stretch that you can do when you get up in the morning. Just to open up the body, open up the tissues. Like most of us, if you're lucky, will get 7 hours sleep, maybe 8 if you're lucky. Some of us get 6, it just depends. And it does, by the way, it doesn't matter the amount of hours, it's the quality of those sleep, okay? But that's for another night to talk about sleep. So you get up in the morning, so pretend I've just got out of bed. Maybe I'll go to the toilet, come back in. I want you to walk out on the toes. Literally start at the bottom, walk out onto the toes. So from the side, up onto one. So like the heel lifts, but just single. Our feet, we really need a lot of work on our feet. You know, we're walking on our feet most of the day, most of us. So our feet's important that they give some care. We don't give our feet enough care. So we just walk out of that, maybe 5 each side. A lovely one is then if you've the wall here or just on your own, you're going to come into a side bend, standing tall, arm is straight by your side, your left hand comes all the way up, over towards the wall. Oh, lovely stretch. And back down. You're going to do 3 each side, over to the wall, and back down, over to the wall. And one, I actually like to come a little bit closer to the wall and really see if you can get those fingertips to the wall. And oh, it's such a lovely stretch. I do this one most mornings. And back. And I got it from a lovely friend of mine through Pilates, Quiva O'Dwyer. She is amazing at the morning routines. And this is one she always includes, and I absolutely adore it. So just a side bend to open up. And if you want, you know, use that chair, or most of us have a locker beside our bed. Just put your hand on the locker and come over. Okay. So 3 each side. If you want, you can repeat this routine a couple of times, but 3 each side is fine. Then sometimes another one you can do is stretch out that back as well. As you walk the feet back, arms are on the locker. So pretend this is a locker, or maybe it's even a high bed, and you just want to stretch back. And this is one you can do if you're working at the desk. I do this one during the day, just to stretch out. Oh my God, it's lovely. And just hang here. And you may just hang here for 2 to 3 breaths, maybe 3 to 4 breaths. Then you're going to come back up. And my favorite one is the roll down. So you're going to stand nice and tall, chin comes towards your chest, and you're just going to roll. Imagine the vertebrae coming down one by one. If you only get to here, that's fine. You want to bring the shoulders down and push the bum back. If you can, roll down a little bit forward. Now be careful if you have any dizzy issues and stuff, you might want to come back up again, but take your time. Come all the way down and hold this position for about 3 or 4 breaths. And then to come out of it easy, you're going to walk your hands up the legs all the way to the top. Stretch. And I would do that 2 to 3 times. Like all of this will only take you a few minutes. And even if you don't do any of that, if you just do the next one every day, it's amazing for the mobility of the spine. It's the cat-cow, as you might know it, or humped stocks, they call it as well. So I do it after I do my roll down. So I roll down all the way, come down into a box position. So your hands are under your shoulder, your knees are under your hips, a nice straight back. You're going to dip the belly, raising up the head. Imagine the shoulder blades are being pulled together. And from here, tucking the tailbone. And imagine the spine has been brought all the way up to the top. And you're going to repeat that. So even if you just do this one, it's so good. You're opening up the spine, mobilizing everything, and nice and slow. So it's not a rush job. If you even just do that one in the morning, it'll wake you up a bit. But I do love walking out on the feet. Love that side bend. It's really, really great. And that's your morning routine. So just to recap, you can walk out on the heels, walk out on the heels. You can do a nice side bend up in the morning. Oh yeah, it's great. I'm wide awake now. And then you can roll down nice and slow. And then you can come into that cat-cow, or even just hang out here and breathe. But definitely, like, this one's not just for the morning. I say morning stretch. If you're at the desk, if you're sitting down a lot, you need to move the body. So stretch, do something like that. So I'm just going to come back now to my computer, turn on so I show you my contact details. I hope you've got some benefit or something from this, even if it is just to move more. 10 minutes, a few times a day, do something that you enjoy, that I would be only delighted. So I'm just going to pop on and see if there's any chat messages. So let me see. I'll put up I have to put the glasses on. I won't be able to see a thing. We'll put on switch me camera. Sorry now, guys. Oh, 5 to. I didn't do too bad. Normally I tend to go over on these. Integrated camera, great stuff. So I'm just going to share my screen again. There we go. Oh, that was another quote from James Clear. I just love that one. It's, success is the product of daily habits and not once in a lifetime transformation. So it's not one thing. It's success. It's change of daily habits over time, guys. That's the kind of plank, the ideal plank, nice straight line. And to finish, there are my contact details. So if you're on Instagram, I DK Fitnut. I do a lot of nutrition stuff. I'm on Facebook, more active on Instagram. If you have any questions, please email me, dkfitnut@gmail.com. I also on the web, the internet, the web at dkfitnut.com. And yeah, let me see now if I can go into the chat, see if there's anything here. Any questions? All okay at the minute. Yes, if you do, I hope you got something from it. Let me just come out of this here for a tick. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so like I said, to summarize, do something that you love. It's brilliant that these guys have come together and do these club challenges. I think it's so important, especially being in lockdown, the social connection, even if you can get out with your friend for a walk or get the kids involved. Like for children, they're active so much, it's amazing. For adults, I suppose, as we get older, I find sometimes time, but there's so much time in the week. You can make the 30 minutes, believe me. If you can do it with someone, it's even better. If you can get involved in a club, absolutely brilliant. But you don't need to be rushing out to go to a gym. There's lots of stuff. Like I say, if you can do a couple of those exercises, if you can just move, if you're at the desk, like I said, get some more back exercises to open up that, to bring back that shoulders as well. Lots of different things you can do, like especially, I suppose, yoga, tai chi, all of that. There's so many things we can do now, and they're all beneficial to our health and to our body. So yeah, I hope that is helpful. If you have any questions, you can pop them in. Otherwise, I think Noel will be still there. He's going to probably sign me off and finish up. I'd say, Noel, please don't tell me the score.
Thanks, Deirdre. That was a fantastic workshop. I hope everyone enjoyed that and got some tips from it. It will be recorded, so we'll be sending out the recordings next week, along with the link to next Wednesday's workshop. So thanks again, Deirdre. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you have any questions, or if you think of any questions in the meantime, please either contact Deirdre or contact myself, and I'll pass them on to Deirdre. So enjoy the rest of your evening, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.